Comrades, let's welcome the Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Fikile Mbalula. Two, bahlale phansi bambe umthetho. Comrades, President Tambo, kudala silamulele. Let's appreciate also our current leaders. Silamulele Mbalula, safa saphela. Malta, Matla, Aruna, high discipline, high morality, bahlale phansi bambe umthetho. Amandla, viva, viva. Comrades, as we've indicated, the Secretary General of the African National Congress has arrived. We've been patiently waiting for you, Nobal, to address young people in South Africa. We'll take our President, comrades, to introduce the Secretary General. But we are appealing, comrades, when delegates are singing, securities must not block them. There's no one that is going to do anything to the Secretary General. This is our leader. We love him. He's our Secretary General. We can't be blocked. There's nothing we're going to do. Please take over, President.
Uzayithola kanjani? Ungaye esikolweni. Thank you very much, comrades. I think I must first start by applauding delegates that have arrived. I know that you finished voting in the 11 a.m.s and 12. Some of you only slept for less than an hour, but you still kept the discipline and came to plenary to complete the work of commissions and further to that. It was not an easy conference, comrades. From registration to food to the weather. It's very hot here in Limpopo. Kiabona le bakapula ya malachi today. Comrades, I'm going to introduce to you the former Secretary General of the ANC Youth League, the former President of the ANC Youth League. It is only him and President Nelson Mandela who became both SGs and President of the ANC Youth League. Asiman lemang, au khonang. The current Secretary General of the ANC, them chuchis himself. Secretary General, who is responsible to communicate good and bad news on behalf of the African National Congress. I'm introducing to you Secretary General, Comrade Fikile Vutamlilo Mbalula. Unobalat. Unobalo ne kontente.
Amanda awethu Matla kwethola kanjani uhlele khoneni ayeye khona Malachi ayeye khona Malachi ayeye uyiragala wetsana. Thank you very much, comrades. President of the ANC Youth League, Comrade Colin Malachi, and congratulations to you and the leadership of the ANC Youth League. You organized the best conference within a very short space of time. There were people who were skeptical about this conference. When I went to meet with the Youth League in Johannesburg, you had taken a decision when we came to your NGC that you are going to have this conference. And there are others who said, "Utabe utsama wakama puna puna mo." Ayo mapuna puna mo. The Youth League is renewing itself properly. And then you organized a splendid conference. Top 5, top 6, no contest. No contest. The youth was focused on the task at hand. You have made us proud, comrades, that your autonomy will be protected by the ANC, and that the Youth League will run its own affairs. It is an organization that the ANC must take serious and engage with it with clarity and respect. That it is an organization that can take its own decisions. Comrade Deputy President, Comrade Francisco Kyanki, Secretary General, Comrade Tsakani Shiviti, Watinta Bafazi, Watinti Bogoto. Shiviti is the second woman in the ranks of the Youth League to occupy the position of Secretary General after Phoebe Potgieter. So, Comrade SG, you have made history here in this conference in Limpopo. I'll tell you a story about Limpopo and this conference. In 2007, we were here and it was hot like this. And we were also in a tent. Comrade First Deputy Secretary General, Comrade Zama Kanyase, Comrade Second Deputy Secretary General, Comrade Venus Blenis, Comrade Treasurer General, Comrade Jacob Tau, members of the newly elected National Executive Committee, yet to be announced. Congratulations in advance, comrades. Delegates from every corner of our beloved nation. Comrades, I'm not alone here. I'm with the second DSG, Comrade Marupeni. When I call her nice, when we are together, Kiriki Trupzela. Marupeni also comes from the ranks of the Youth League and served for the longest of time in the National Executive Committee of the Youth League. In the ANC officials, we are the only two who come directly from the ranks of the Youth League. I mean directly, not manga business. Direct more up the ranks of the Youth League. There are many other members of the NEC who are here, led by Dixon Masemula, member of the NEC, and also other members of the NEC who come from your ranks of the Youth League, also directly to the ANC NEC. I'm not going to single them out by names, but I think they've been with you here, and I think they played a very constructive role in getting the affairs of this Congress going. I also want to thank the Vice Chancellor of this university for allowing our youth to gather in this important Congress of the Youth. Thank you, Vice Chancellor. Comrades, the National Executive Committee of the ANC is very proud of the Youth League of Colin Malachi. Just after the celebration of the 16th of December, yesterday, which is called Reconciliation Day, but it is the day when Umkhonto weSizwe was formed in our country. So it's a special day to the ANC Youth League, which that Umkhonto weSizwe, its first commander, was Comrade Nelson Mandela, who came directly from the ranks of the ANC Youth League. And today, you are holding that Congress. But you are in the home of Peter Mokaba, the Lion of the North. Roar, young lions, roar. And you elected another lion from the North, Colin Malachi, to become the president of the ANC Youth League. Peter Mokaba says, rather die to a man than to let the enemy pass. The Lion of the North, he came from here in Mankwe. Rather die to a man than to let the enemy pass. Peter Mokaba, who defended and shaped the autonomy of our organization to what you enjoy today as the ANC Youth League. Peter Mokaba, who defined the Youth League as an organizational mobilization organ of the African National Congress, of which in its decision-making and policy we participate, quote unquote, Ramshwal. We gave him a name when we called him Kilame. His funeral was held here in this university. He was special to us because he taught and led from the front and taught us militancy. Comrade President of the Youth League and the officials, 40 years ago, yet another president of the Youth League, President Oliver Tambo, who graduated to become the president of the ANC in the later years, delivering the ANC's January 8 statement in 1985, said these profound words that not only invigorated the ANC Youth League, but defined the role of the youth in our liberation struggle. And I quote, "The students and the youth and the working youth of our country have once more confirmed their place in our hearts as the pride of the nation. These relentless fighters for a South Africa that we can proudly call our own have throughout this past year swelled the ranks of the mass movement by joining the struggle in hundreds of thousands. Despite the campaign of murder and terror unleashed by the racists against them, including the very young, they have stood firm in their demands. They have refused to break from the ranks of the struggling masses in saluting our students and working youth. We can truly say that they have earned for themselves the honor of being called the Young Lions," close quote. This is 1985. Comrades, the International Year of the Youth, when Oliver Tambo said, "Render apartheid machinery ungovernable, and also its machinery unworkable." It is in 1985 that Oliver Tambo bestowed, on behalf of the ANC, the honor on the youth of our country as the Young Lions. So when you are called Young Lions, it is not romanticizing. It's because you have earned the stripes that the ANC said to the youth, you are the roaring young lions of the African National Congress. The young lions of Oliver Tambo must continue to play their part as trailblazers towards the realization of a democratic society. President Tambo's words remain relevant to this day and continue to be a clarion call for our youth. Comrades, the NGC of the ANC emphasized the need for our organizational renewal to rebuild the leadership, ideological capacity, and effectiveness of the ANC as a transformative force. This includes adopting a renewal charter towards 2032. The NGC highlighted the persistent issues of poverty and unemployment among the youth. It will be amiss if the Youth League of Malachi can conclude its business without a focus on addressing unemployment in the country. Young people don't want to be beggars. They want to do things for themselves. And the ANC Youth League is going to champion that cause. You must never fear, comrades, to express yourself because you are young. You are the youth of the ANC. You must never think all the time you must speak from a correct disposition. Don't confuse rascalism and militancy. You are militant, you are not rascals. You are radical, you are not rascals. And that's what we expect from the youth. You are impatient with the process of democratization. If we in the ANC move slower, you must make us move fast. That is your role as the youth. You must continue to imbue in the politics of the ANC radicalism, because we, as we grow older, we learn fear as we grow older. Now you start to think, I've got kids, I've got a wife. Nina, you don't think about kids and wives, you think about the future. And you must always say, we are the future and no one can stop us. Even when the ANC is going astray, it is the Youth League of Malachi that must intervene and say, this revolution is being sold out. We will listen to you. We will engage with you. Some of us, when the youth roars, we see flames and we see danger. And that is not what we must fear in the youth of our country. What is important for the youth is for the youth to be guided in terms of its militancy, in terms of the direction the National Democratic Revolution is taking. Comrades, the challenge of the youth is unemployment, and the Youth League have intervened decisively in terms of what needs to be done. Young people don't want handouts. We have said to the youth, when we build the black middle strata, that they must swell the ranks of education. We have made education accessible. What is important is how that accessibility translates into formal employment in terms of the economy of our country. And that's what is important. Young people, when they go to school, when they leave and look for employment, they are asked for experience. And we have said, even in the ANC manifesto, can the youth get experience at the workplace? That is where they must get the experience. And if, as the ANC, we forget about that, you must keep reminding us, even if it means marching, that we have taken a resolution. Young people must be at the workplace. Comrades, the youth and their socio-economic interests must be championed by the ANC Youth League. And comrades, here are the tasks that we want to talk about before we conclude. First, be organizers, not just orators. Take the resolutions from this Congress back to every branch, every campus, every township and every village. Mobilize young people, not around slogans, but around solutions. Lead community works, skills workshops, and voter education campaigns. Strengthen the Youth League and make it a vibrant organization at grassroots level. Rebuild that presence, root and branch, brick by brick, member by member. That's what is important from the Youth League members. Second, be the guardians of unity and discipline. A house divided cannot stand. The ANC looks to you as an important organization in this task, but as a necessary for future leadership. Debate fiercely, but decide democratically and uphold the decisions collectively. Respect leadership you have elected here today and hold them accountable. Protect your organization from the parasites of corruption and self-interest. Your integrity is non-negotiable. The Youth League must never be an organization of another leader or another member. It must be an organ of the African National Congress. You must breathe life into the African National Congress. You must stand for your views. You must display your understanding of the revolutionary theory that we are making it possible for all our structures and members to access through the program of political education, which we call the foundation course. Comrades, thirdly, be the bridge between generations. Respect the veterans who paved the way. Learn from their wisdom and their mistakes, but speak truth to power. Remind the mother body relentlessly of the urgent needs and soaring aspirations of the 67% of our population under the age of 35. You are the conduit through which the ANC renews its covenant with the future. There is no other bridge other than the ANC Youth League. It is you who are going to educate the ANC about the youth and their interests and give guidance both in terms of policy and giving guidance in terms of what must happen when it comes to youth interest. Fourthly, comrades, remain at the cusp of popular culture. The dynamism of the Youth League must ensure it is alive to the evolving popular culture of young people in today's world, such as Amapiano, digital innovation, and the ever-evolving social media platforms and engagement, among others. Ensuring relevance of the Youth League among young people means it must be alive and present in the spaces where young people interface and be part of their lifestyles. You must not be defined outside what is evolving among young people in terms of their evolution. You must always understand that the youth is not a homogeneous entity. Young people are not only found in the church, in the particular sector of soccer. Young people are everywhere. The Youth League must be dynamic. The popular culture that has come through over the years, from Kwaito to the evolution today of Amapiano, must be understood by the Youth League as a dynamism and the identity of the South African youth, who have said we refuse to be like Americans. We too have got our own identity. And they came up with the genre of Amapiano. And they've got an identity everywhere in the world. They came with Kwaito. When they sang hip hop, they didn't sing hip hop to mimic Tupac. They sang hip hop in their own mother tongue, in their vernac, from Mafikeng to Soweto, to KwaZulu-Natal, to the Eastern Cape, and singing in Setswana, isiXhosa, and even in Shangaan, and singing about hip-hop. They refuse to become a replica. Our youth culture is rich and evolving, and do not be left behind in terms of its evolution. Fifthly, comrades, be the champions of solidarity in advancing the African agenda. African Renaissance can't die in our lifetime. African agenda through NEPAD cannot die in our lifetime. The Youth League must champion that. When the youth in the continent is getting impatient and they found solutions in military juntas, and yet these military juntas are now justifiable, what do you do when in certain countries a 92-year-old wants to be president and the only thing that can make them not to be president is the grave? And the youth must rebel against that dictatorship. And that is what we said when we talked about African Renaissance. When you talk about what is happening in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Gabon, and elsewhere in the African continent, you will realize that the reason why the youth have embraced Traore and all of them in the Sahel, it is precisely because people are tired of dictatorship. And if the army rebels, it will get the support. But it is the masses of the youth who must be at the helm of the agenda of African Renaissance. It doesn't end there. It talks about African trade, and then African trade agreement that is there must be championed and defended by the youth. African countries must trade among themselves. Africa must stop to become beggars of others. If we are so powerful, we will not be a walkover by the United States of America. South Africa must not fight alone. It must fight with the rest of the African continent. It must never accept to be isolated from the rest of the African continent. We must not allow Donald Trump to isolate us from the African continent. We must fight as the African continent for our own African Renaissance. Comrades, we must stand up against neocolonialism, and that cause must be championed by the youth of our country under the ANC Youth League. Sixthly, comrades, we must renewal begins with the Youth League. What we have seen here and what we'll see going forward, for the ANC to be taken everywhere and be understood by everyone, it is through digital platforms. It is through the Youth League that is revolutionizing itself through social media platforms. The ANC, you will carry the ANC back into victory. And we are not in this Congress to accept that the African National Congress is done and dusted. The ANC will come back, comrades. It will come back through its ANC Youth League. And Comrade Malachi and his generation will carry that torch to the finishing line. Comrades, we wish you well, and we're very happy about this Congress. It was a peaceful Congress. not characterized by pettiness, factionalism, as we walk the path of renewal and ridding the ANC of factionalism and petty tendencies, we know that our Youth League will be in the forefront. In this Congress, there are no issues that somebody was bought, this and that. The ANC can learn better from the ANC Youth League. You decided on your leadership peacefully, without any hindrance. Nobody told you what must actually happen. And I want to, on behalf of the ANC, congratulate the comrades who have left, now joining the ranks of the ANC. The former Secretary General of the Youth League, Comrade Mtuapolo Ngudle, I want to congratulate him. Within a very short space of time, when they were assigned the task by the youth, they managed to keep the Youth League alive. The Treasurer General of the Youth League, hailing from Mpumalanga, also we congratulate him for the role he has played, and all other NEC members, and the first or the second Deputy Secretary General who did not come in. But I can tell you, comrades, if I have to say it, as I move towards conclusion, from a personal point, we have had an opportunity to lead the ANC Youth League. We led the ANC Youth League when some of us were almost aging and very old. This Youth League is led by real youth, people who are within the age. At some point, we elected people in the Youth League who were 35. How can you fight to lead when you are 35? At that time, you must be living. So I think when I look at the top 6, is young people and young women, and growing through the ranks steadily of the youth of the ANC. Comrades, maintain discipline, maintain theoretical clarity, be obsessed with theory of the revolution. In that way, you will remain independent. You will not become properties of individuals in the African National Congress. We are very happy that the Youth League we took to Congress 2 years ago is even better today. When we took you to Congress, it is us who were running that Congress. Today, when you came to this Congress, it is you who were running your own Congress. It was not the ANC that was running this Congress. That shows maturity and growth in the organization, that you are now a fully fledged organ of the African National Congress. So I want to thank you on behalf of the National Executive Committee for leading from the front, for making us proud, and let us now occupy the trenches of mobilizing young people around their issues going forward, and making it a point that the ANC Youth League becomes the super voice of the youth and becomes what Peter Mokaba called a boomerang of the youth in our country. And I want to thank all former members of the youth and former leaders of the Youth League who came here, and others who are not here. Continue to interact with them, because that is the well of experience. And those who will not make it, you are not lost. Come to the ANC. We are waiting for you in the ranks of the African National Congress. So, for those who will not make it to the NEC of the Youth League, Anilahlekanga, you are not lost. We are waiting for you in the ANC. Come home and lead the African National Congress. Amandla! Awethu! Mata! Uzoyithola kanjani? Uhlele khoneni. Wafika uMandela nanda viva. Wafika uMandela nanda viva. Wafika uSisulu nanda viva. Wafika uMukaba nanda viva.
Let's get seated, comrades. Nobala Chigelele, we African National Congress. We appreciate your message in the Congress. Why Nobala? Nobala, you must not leave.
Sorry, Deputy President, I will be killed, comrade. This conference of yours was made possible by Limpopo province. I want us to thank Comrade Provincial Secretary of Limpopo, Comrade Mataji. Kile buile Vice Chancellor ka be ke lebala province yaka. Hey, I will be dismissed. Madaji and the collective of Limpopo, Comrade Stan Tabata, all of them, the PC for supporting. And also the former Deputy President of the Youth League, I'm told is here. I didn't see him. Andile Lungisa. Thank you very much, comrades. Thank you.
Amanda, go to. Amanda, go to. Comrades who are going to give it to the Secretary General of the ANC Youth League, Comrade Sagani. We have a gift to hand over to the Secretary General with Comrade Zama. SG, can you come in front, SG?
Sashuka mnandi amagwala azubale sashuka mnandi teta mbalula the ANC Youth League Secretary General of the ANC and the former President of the ANC Youth League and the former Secretary General of the ANC Youth League, this Congress have mandated us to gift you, SG, to gift you as a former leader of this organization and as a beacon of hope of all generations of the ANC Youth League and the current generations that are here of the ANC Youth League. SG, with us, we have a book. We have a book of the longest serving president of the ANC, President Oliver Tambo, that we are handing over to the former president of the Youth League and the Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Fikile Mbalula. With us again, SG, we have a very beautiful t-shirt. This t-shirt has the faces of all former presidents of the ANC Youth League, including yours. The last president here is President Colin Malachi. As a former president and the current president of the ANC Youth League. SG, that is not all. We have a young man here who have drawn a portrait of yourself. This is the talent that we have amongst ourselves in the ANC Youth League. This is a gift for the SG of the ANC and the former president of the ANC Youth League. President, accept the portrait on the behalf of Congress. SG, before you leave, there's also another portrait for the president of the ANC because it's the one who opened our Congress. So the portrait will be handed over to you as well. On behalf of the president of the ANC and the president of the country. Thank you, SG, for gracing this Congress. Thank you so much.
Mandla, O2, high discipline. Pasek, comrades, we are moving on. We are going to give it to our second first Deputy General Kopu Zama, also the gift to the leadership in the ANC. You can take a stage leadership.
Of the NEC led by the Secretary General, Comrade Fikile Mbalula. I'm here to do a small task, what's a continuation. Our SG, Comrade Sagani, has already presented this program, and I think I'm not going to be too long, but it is also a very important item because we also wish to hand over a gift to the second DSC of the ANC, Comrade Marupin Ramakgopa. Please come forward, Comrade DSC. So, we are handing over a gift to a clear product of the ANC Youth League that needs no introduction. A product of the ANC Women's League, an internationalist, a former ambassador, a minister in the presidency, and a good inspiration to us as the young women of the movement. We love you, DSG. We appreciate you for coming through for us, and as the ANC Youth League, you give us hope and the strength to move forward with our program. Please receive this gift.
Mandla, before you leave SG, I have an appeal. Because when you addressed us, I was very excited. And I said, this is the leadership we need in the ANC. When I see you, I say youth leaguer. When you are presenting here, I said, but this man is still the president of the ANC Youth League. The ideas are still there. We want you to promise us that we are not going to be taken to the DC of the ANC. For some of the things that you have said here, you will experience a more radical National Executive Committee. We are here in this Congress, SG. We are not going to be captured. They tried. They did not win. Even when we came here, there was a serious capture and the influence of the outcome. They tried, but they did not win. We'll continue to be radical. We'll continue to raise views. We'll continue to represent the interests of young people. But promise us one thing. Systems of the ANC are not going to be used against leaders of the ANC to be silenced. That's the only promise we want from you. That whatever that you said, you will find it. The history is there. We've been consistent. But promise the National Executive Committee that systems of the ANC are not going to be used against leaders of the Youth League to to be silenced. That's the promise we need from you, SG. We need that promise. We need that promise because we need to protect Comrade Colin Malachi. We need to protect our president. We need to protect our leaders. Issues that are being raised are issues that are critical, that every leader of the ANC Youth League must be able to confront, fear and for all generation, confront issues, but we don't want the systems of the ANC to be against us. Because leaders of the ANC, they have that potential. When you raise critical issues, you confront the status quo, they speak about DC of the ANC. Now we're saying we are ready, but we need Vuta to protect us and say, allow the Youth League to be radical, allow the Youth League to raise issues, allow the Youth League to be militant. That's what we want from you, SG. We don't want to be silenced. Young people are living on the basis that the Youth League is neutralized. And we are saying now, the Youth League must never be neutralized. We need former leaders of the Youth League to defend the revolution, defend the Youth League. That's what we need, comrades. For now, comrades, let's move a revolutionary song and allow leaders of the ANC to live and continue with our program. Amandla! Comrades, the SG is saying he wants to be here and does not want to leave. He's telling me out now. Comrades, comrades, we had a program where we were taking provinces for adoption of 3 report, President. The adoption of the political report of the President, the adoption of the org report of the Secretary General, the adoption of the Treasurer's report, the adoption of constitutional amendments, and the adoption of the NGC resolution. There was a move, comrades, from Mpumalanga. But in terms of sitting arrangements, comrades, we are no longer the same. The second province, if I'm correct, was going to be Northern Cape. Can you give Northern Cape, comrades? Comrades, is Northern Cape covered? Comrades, we need a mic to go to Northern Cape. Where is it? Comrades, we need a mic to go to Northern Cape. Comrades, where is the mic?
Thank you very much, Comrade GP. My name is Donovan De Hayes from the Northern Cape. Comrade GP, that we would want this conference to look into the issue of the equitable share formula that has been applied. As the Northern Cape, we are fully opposed to the current equitable share formula. that does not speak to, that only focus on the population. We are, Comrade Deputy President, opposed to the issues of looking only into the population, but we want to propose that we factor the issue of distance, because the Northern Cape is one of the provinces that is very vast, and for issues of service delivery to be met, there are challenges of distance that we are not equitably receiving. So, Chair, this is our move. With that, we want to adopt all reports that Mpumalanga have proposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, leadership. Can you go to KZN?
One, two. Amandla. Awethu. No, thank you very much, Comrade Deputy President, for the opportunity. My name is Damian Mukanzi. I am from Ward 36, Sunduzi sub-region, Moses Mabhida region in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. First of all, in terms of the NGC resolutions, the political report, one must say that the political report, Comrade Deputy President, was very comprehensive. It is adopted. The NGC resolutions are adopted. The organizational report as well, very comprehensive in nature, fully adopted. The financial report also adopted. Thank you very much, and I will proceed to deliberate on the issue of the commissions. Starting off DP on ETC, slightly DP because I'm an NEC member of SASC, I'll be biased towards some of issues that speak to the issues of students as well. On the issue DP of expropriation, the resolutions must speak also not just to low-income housing. However, we know that each and every year there are issues of students not having buildings. To females, sometimes it means that they sleep with landlords. Some are victimized by landlords. The expropriation must also speak to expropriation for the purposes of state-owned accommodation for students. Comrade DP, on the issue of beneficiation, reindustrialization, we know, Comrade DP, that as the ANC Youth League, we have been speaking about this for so long that there is even an organization that has stolen resolutions of the ANC Youth League and called it its own cardinal pillars. We have been speaking about this. This Congress must mandate the NEC to develop a policy framework to ensure that we realize this industrialization and beneficiation, so that it's not a matter of slogan only, but it is a real program of action that we will attain in this 27th Congress. I'm going to continue, Comrade DP, on organizational renewal. One must first of all welcome the vetting process, Comrade DP. But I think when it was coined, it was said that people will be vetted on the basis of criminal offenses, DP. Now, I believe everyone who is in this house is an activist, which means from time to time on your campuses, on your communities, you participate in marches. Some of these marches, they end up violent. Whether you like it or not, they end up in that manner. And our activists are processed, arrested, and sometimes they carry criminal charges. It must be noted that no one should be penalized on the basis of participation in programs that are meant to develop our people. Now, Comrade DP, I'm going to dwell a little bit on this one, on the Progressive Youth Alliance. First of all, DP, it's a very sensitive topic for us to have, but it is an important conversation that this Congress must have. DP, I want to remind you that there is no Congress of the YCL-SA that has said and resolved that the YCL will contest SASCO in institution of higher learning. Their resolutions still stand. And so we must not, DP, make the mistake of believing that as a result of having issues with the SACP and the ANC, it will directly translate to the YCL. Yes, DP, it is correct to know that there is a potential that we are going there, but I think we must not create problems where they are not there. However, this Congress must once again empower this NEC to be able to take a strategic decision based on the material conditions that will unfold from this Congress onwards. Having said that, I'm going to move on, Comrade DP, to the final one, which is the battle of ideas, Comrade DP. We are saying that we want to penetrate spaces of media, but Comrade DP, it is not going to be by force where we are saying we want to go in. I believe here, Comrade DP, we have experts in their different various areas. Our local radio stations and even the advanced ones, they are always looking for specialties of people that are going to comment on subjects that are of interest. For instance, I can make an example by myself. I'm an expert, DP, on floods. You can't tell me anything on the topic. It means it's an opportunity for us to go there in our area of expertise. But when we are there, we must always remember to defend the ANC. This is what the DA has been doing. It has journalists, and these journalists are always ensuring that they advance the positions of the DA. We must do the same, but we must be better than them. Amanda.
Wait, comrades, before I move to other province, I want to check in terms of drafting, because some of the arguments that you are raising, the current first DSG, Comrade Zama, has been critical about them, I know, when she was a spokesperson, in terms of the investment of the ANC, trying at least in terms of communication. Because our understanding is that other organizations are investing in terms of the outlook. Now I'm saying, I don't want this to be a talk show. I will ask you to come on front and check if there's a person from drafting, formally submit that. Well, some of the proposals that you have made are very progressive. Can you go to Eastern Cape? Eastern Cape.
Greetings to the newly elected leadership of the ANC Youth League officials and to the delegates in the conference. I know I'm told to be, but I will be very short. Firstly, before I move with the adoption of the political report, org report, financial report, and the NTC resolution, I want to speak on the issue of the online membership system. As the leadership that was presenting the commissions there spoke on the issues of the online membership. Well, as a ANC Youth League, we need to move very fast on that particular aspect, because there are many young people who want to join the ANC Youth League, but they are struggling to get the access as to how best can they join it. So that online membership system is very important, and we must ensure that we...
Amanda, comrades, we are requesting leadership to assist us. Comrades are leaving now. Provincial leaders must assist us. It's not because it's you, comrade lawyer. Now, there is a mistake that I committed, which I must agree that I've committed that mistake. I did not allocate time. Comrades have been voting throughout the night. We are understanding. I'm saying provincial leaders must assist us, but at least we are going to allocate time now. 2 minutes. If there's an indication from first DSG is raising her hand, you should stop and pass to another province. Continue. But I'm saying provincial leaders in the meantime must assist us. Can you be fast?
Okay, thank you, TP. No, I wanted to speak on the issue of the online membership. We need to fast track that thing as a matter of urgency, and we need to move with times. As the Youth League by now, we must be able to create profiles when we are joining the membership of the ANC Youth League. and also be allocated a time whereby if your age allows, you can be able to pay your membership for a period of more than a year. I wanted to speak also on the issues of communication and strategy, also on the issue of digital migration. We need to move times because we are living on the times of fourth industrial revolution. So we must be able to empower the membership of the ANC Youth League to be active in social media platforms so that we can be able to defend and integrate the values and the principles of the African National Congress Youth League and the ANC. Thank you, Chief.
Captured. Limbombo. It's fine, there's an order, comrades. Comrades Bonel.
Thank you, Chairperson. Greetings, comrades. All protocol is observed. Chairperson, I'm rising on a point of order on the plenary first for having allowed Lutuli officers to consolidate resolutions on our behalf as branch delegates. That is a very crucial responsibility that should not be outsourced. So I think, comrades, as plenary, we must take responsibility for having outsourced that responsibility. Because once we outsource commissions, we outsource program of action, we outsource the strategy of young people. The next point of order is identifying us on provincial basis. This is the branch delegates. This is the National Congress of branch delegates, not provinces. So having identified us in provinces, that's the point of order. Allow branch delegates to discuss in a National Congress of branch delegates. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Well, let me rule on that point. Maybe let's give a school of thought. A point of order is when we are discussing out of context. Now, what we are raising is a submission which must be submitted to leadership to say there's that consent. But in terms of the items and the order on the table, we are discussing within because this is an agreed program. Now I'm saying, when you don't agree with us, there is no need to say a point of order. Because when you are saying I'm out of order, we are saying I'm speaking out of context in terms of what we are discussing. Unfortunately, we have said there must be a comment from provinces. All of us who have agreed. Now, you can't say when we are doing that, we're out of order, but we got an endorsement from the House. Secondly, you are correct. In the Congress, branch delegates. Now, that's why we are saying when you introduce yourself, you must say, I'm Comrade Kianji Francisco from Ngoma Ward 5. But we can't ignore that. This is a national Congress. A delegation is led through provinces. We are not saying a person from Limpopo cannot speak. If there is another person from Limpopo who wants to raise an issue, can raise that issue. But when we are giving a slot to Limpopo, we are not saying we are subjected to one person. Because the Congress is for all comrades. But if we are saying Eastern Cape, anyone within the delegation of Eastern Cape from a branch who wants to submit a view, that was the proposal, comrades. We never said we are going to listen. Because if that was the case, we were going to request provincial chairpersons to make a submission. Can you continue, comrades, with Limbombo? Thanks.
Thanks, Chair. My name is Phineas Sabola. I'm from Ward 18 of Blowback sub-region in the Limpopo province. Chair, we want to align ourselves with other provinces in seconding the adoption of all reports presented by the NEC in this plenary. We also want to make our inputs, of course, seconding also the adoption of all resolutions of the NGC, but make inputs on a problem statement that was raised on the PYA. For your information, Chair, it is a resolution of the YCL that the party must contest elections. Therefore, and the party, there is no assumption that the party will contest elections. The party is already contesting by-elections here in Limpopo. We are mooring them at all corners of the province. But Chair, our relationship with the party that we know is supposed to be a revolutionary relationship of in historical context of ideological interest. The party that we know will be guided by the workers and the working class. This party today that is guided by emotions has no revolution. There's nothing revolutionary in Solima Pilot taking any platform to attack the ANC. anyone who comes out to attack the ANC must find us as the Youth League as a first line of defense. The party and YCL do not have any platforms except in messages of support of our programs because they can't even organize baby showers. The Youth League, therefore, want to propose that the Youth League must take a posture to ban the party and YCL in all of our programs. They come to our programs, steal our strategies, and Solima Paila becomes emotional and attacks our Youth League and the ANC. We want to propose that the Youth League must influence the ANC and advise the ANC to stop speaking English. The party is contesting elections and the ANC is the one that is in state power. The party is contesting the ANC.
That's not bad.
Thank you very much.
That's not bad. Gauteng. You have 2 minutes, Comrade.
Thank you very much, DP. Let me also join the chorus and congratulate the newly 27th official office bearers. As Gauteng, we also want to align ourselves with the other provinces and adopt all reports as presented in plenary. DP, we also want to adopt the NGC.
Sorry, Comrade Bumi. Mandla. Away high discipline. High moral. So, you can continue leadership.
Thank you. We also want to adopt the NGC resolutions as presented in plenary, in particular the resolutions from the ETC, the Economic Transformation Committee, particularly the resolution on spaza shops. As Gauteng, we want plenary to agree on an actionable program of action that will guide and implement this resolution on spaza shops. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gauteng. Northwest. It's fine if you are not offended because we are using. Okay, it's fine. Our man is in the church.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, Comrade DP of the ANC Youth League. My name is Cindy Swaskepers. I'm from Ward 8, Matlosana, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Northwest. Chairperson, I would like to also join the other provinces that are adopting and also second the reports, the 3 reports, and also maybe augment on a few things in terms of the resolutions here, taken here. We would like to firstly support the Northern Cape on the issue of equitable share proposal. And of course, Deputy President, with the biasness of rural areas to it. The second issue we want to speak about, Deputy President,